And now, United States Wrestling proudly presents its very first media conference, sponsored by the Pit Stop Pub.
Good afternoon. Oh, not on. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending the very first USW Media Conference, sponsored by the Pit Stop Pub. My name is Danny Mays. I am the voice of United States Wrestling since the first event that was held in Severn. It's hard to believe, in the summer of 2010. I was very, very young back then, you guys. Very young. I was like 5. Yeah. Since that time, USW branding has been hot and cold. We've created an outlet for many different independent promotions to be showcased in the form of magazine coverage, trading cards, autograph conventions, and the traveling USW Championship, which has happened, matches have happened all over the country. Over the years, the USW Heavyweight Championship has showcased only one champion that we'll introduce you to in a little bit. The title has been defended against such Hall of Famers, the Boogie Woogie Man, Handsome Jimmy Vallett, the Tokyo Monster, Playboy Bob Starr, who we'll meet in a little bit, Stunning Adam Armstrong, and the Holy Rollers, just to name a few folks that have competed for that championship. We are here to announce that we are moving forward with a full-time schedule in 2024, but before we get to the details of that, let's talk about the championships that our competitors will be fighting for. USW has created a partnership with Big Time Belts. Creator Muhammad Zubair has produced championship belts for our sister company, the Maryland Wrestling Federation, and is currently in production on the following championships. Here in United States Wrestling, we believe equal opportunity for our female talent just as much as our men's division, and that's why it is our privilege to announce that in 2024, we will be presenting a ladies division, and at the top of that division will be the United States Wrestling Lady Liberty Championship. Tag team wrestling is very alive on the independent scene. Although there was a time on mainstream TV that tag team wrestling was sort of sidelined, United States Wrestling will be taking tag team action very, very seriously in the coming months, and we look forward to crowning the very first USW Tag Team Champions. We are currently in talks with various networks for syndication, and we will be debuting a championship to be defended on that show specifically, and that will be the United States Wrestling Silver Screen Championship, and that will cover all platforms, television, internet, and more. It is by far one of the most creative concepts that have been designed for a championship. I've had a chance to see the championship as it's been produced. It's one of my favorite championship designs I've ever seen, and we will be using the USW Silver Screen title for competitors around the 150 to 205 pound mark. So that will be the level that you can expect to see competing for the Silver Screen Championship. The only championship we have completed and on display today is one with a bit of history, as we talked about a little bit earlier. This is the United States Wrestling Heavyweight Championship on the table in front of us. And to wrestle for the heavyweight title, you must be 205 or more. Brian Hardy was our former USW champion and was offered the opportunity to retain his position as we come back to a full schedule. And he declined that opportunity, stating that he wants to earn the title, and because it has not been defended in the required 60-day timeline, he wants to earn the title as we come back to a schedule here in 2024. But what good are championships without competitors to compete for them? So now is an appropriate time to introduce a few of our professional wrestlers. Yeah, we're allowed to say that now. It's crazy. Professional wrestlers that will be competing under contract for United States Wrestling. It seems like a good time to start with the president of our board, the two-time United States Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, and the first announced active member of the United States Wrestling roster. Ladies and gentlemen, the second generation sensation, Brian Hardy.
Sensation.
All right, I'm excited about this next signing. We've signed this gentleman as a referee. He's a man that's been everywhere and done everything, and done a lot of things he cannot tell you about in public, let me assure you. He'll be placed in a senior official role for the United States Wrestling brand, but when he did wrestle, he main evented the inaugural USW event in 2010. Please welcome a wonderful man, a handsome man, a true American, Playboy Bobby Starr. Next up, a man that's competed for the United States Wrestling Championship on more than one occasion. He has his sights now set on that silver screen title that we talked about earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, stunning Adam Armstrong. I know, except yours. Next up, this very large man is looking to take USW by storm, spending his entire life in the woods, wrestling bears and other wildlife. I'm not going to fact check that. He says he's here in USW to chop down the competition in his quest for the USW Heavyweight Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lumberjack, Huck Sawyer. Gentlemen, thank you all for appearing today. Later on in the conference, we will be taking questions for these gentlemen as they look to make their mark in United States Wrestling. Also want to announce that the following talent has also joined the USW roster. I almost said MWF. In the heavyweight division, the Rotmare. As part of the silver screen division, Merrick Miami. As part of the tag team division, the legendary Sal Sincere. Also the legendary King Kalua and Rob Sweet and Dewey Murray will all be a part of the tag team division. In addition to our senior official Playboy Bobby Starr, we also have Jeremy Jones and Owen Hardy signed on as officials on the USW roster. These first 12 members have all been officially announced. I guess that makes me number 13. Unlucky number 13. And we'll follow the social media pages for future talent acquisitions, and we'll be making future announcements as we get more folks under contract. For our next announcement, I'd like to turn it over to Bobby Starr.
How's everybody doing this afternoon? Unlike other wrestling companies that you've seen around and that are active right now, the USW is going to be doing many different things that you have not seen in independent wrestling, such as what I'm announcing now, and that will be the action figure. Give me 2 seconds here, because I don't have glasses. Nobody told me I needed my glasses. Can I have some glasses, please? Because I'm half blind without them. Thank you. Now I can see. See, that's what wrestling does. In the next order of business, we have a very major announcement. Actually, as I was explaining to you, when you break into professional wrestling, there are a lot of things that you want to do. You want to be able to travel the world. You want to be able to see your name on the marquee, on the poster. You want to conquer championships. You want to build relationships with your locker room and the fans. I've been fortunate enough to do all of that through the years, and anybody out there that knows me, I've traveled the world with WCW, with WWF, and with countless independents, and now with USW. Some do, some don't. Careers are short. One thing I'm here to talk to you about today, I'm not good at this. Let's get to it. The action figure line. If you could hand me that. Teacher Sandwich would hand me the action figure. I love pro wrestling. So let's sit that right here for now. If everybody needs to get shots, which is cool because this just happens to be the Brian Hardy action figure, which is figure number 1. United States Wrestling has spent years searching for the company to be able to produce these things. It's not as easy as everyone thinks, and we're going to take it to the next level. I'm very proud to say that with the help of David Cummings, USW has reached the deal and signed a deal with a toy creator company. Wrestling Tycoon, they will be bringing you the first series of USW figures in the spring of 2024. The action line will be called USW Red, White, and Bruised. Each limited run of the figures will be made out of resin sculpted with no articulation, which for people like me, that means the arms and legs don't move. To pay tribute to the days of when wrestling figures were first released, which if you remember, the World Wrestling Federation was up first with a series of giant figures such as these. All right, let me put this in my words, because I can't read that fast. Bottom line is, the people at USW that run the company have went far and beyond to figure this stuff out. And I know for a fact, because I speak to Brian regularly, he has checked with different companies, checked with different distributors, checked with all these different things to come up with this. And if everybody can make their way up later after we're done and check this out, this is number one. This is like the golden figure because it's the first one they sent me. The artwork that is going to be added to it is amazing. I've already seen prototypes of it. But if you look at just this figure, it's absolutely amazing that an independent level company, not someone such as WWE or AEW, will have this kind of stuff. And the fact that it is going to come out in different
variants.
Different variants and different series, which means there are not going to be a ton of them. So if you're a fan of, say, Brian Hardy, you'll want to grab them fast because the first print, the first run, obviously would be worth more money in the long run.
It's a limited run duplication, so there's 50 figures per person. There is 4 figures in the first line. The 4 figures in the first line are the voice of the MWF, Danny Mace. It is Stunning Adam Armstrong with a robe. Danny comes with a microphone. It is Playboy Bob Starr with the variant referee gear, and it is myself, the second generation sensation Brian Hardy with the USW Heavyweight Championship. 40 of these figures starting out for each person in the line will be regular figures. The last 10 for each in the line is a variant. So if Adam Armstrong has a purple robe in his original figure, he may have a green robe in his variant. The title for me doesn't change, but the gear once again does. So if I'm wearing blue tights, I might wear orange tights in the variant figure, that kind of stuff. So be on the lookout for that. It is very groundbreaking. We have the first prototype right there, and the figures will definitely follow here within the next couple of weeks. I think I email you almost every day and give you some type of update. Danny too, where I send about 10 to 12 pictures, and I'm like, check this out. You'll never believe what they're doing right now. So it's pretty cool.
And it's amazing because that I know of, and don't get me wrong, I may be, but I only know of one other company doing that, and that's the Pop Figure line.
Yeah.
The whole variant thing is just a chance, by chance you get one. So if you're a figure collector, it makes it a lot more interesting. And with a promotion, an upstart promotion coming back on fire, just by seeing that tells you how much that they're putting into this. These people work hard all the time, and it's not just figures. It's the booking of the buildings. It's the getting the guys to agree to come in and stay coming in. That's the hardest thing. With independent wrestling, you'll see guys one time and gone. You can't do that when you're a wrestling company. You can do that when you're a spot show promoter. And like I said, I hear from Brian daily, and these things blows my eyes up all the time. But it's the coolest thing. Like today was the first day I got to see it in person, and that's pretty cool. And it'll be even cooler that I'm in one. But I will throw it back to our host, Dan Mays.
Thanks, Bob.
I wish I would have known I had to talk. I would have brought good glasses.
All right, let's talk about some upcoming dates that we can announce. There are some things that we're still working on that we can announce, but we do have some things to announce that are confirmed today. We do have a very busy schedule moving forward, and we're going to start by having some showcase matches at some different promotions. We are here today to make a major announcement on the return for a full show of USW action, and that will be on Saturday, March the 9th of 2024. We will debut in Elmore, West Virginia for a great night of pro wrestling action, and every single USW championship that I mentioned to you will be on the line in Elmore, West Virginia on Saturday, March the 9th. Tickets will go on sale on December the 1st. We will certainly have more information on that as that date approaches, but definitely put that in your calendar for the relaunch of USW will happen on Saturday, March 9th in Elmore, West Virginia. You can also meet the stars of USW Wrestling on Saturday, September 30th at the Linthicum Fair in Linthicum, Maryland. USW stars will be signing autographs, taking pictures with the community, and they are excited to meet all the great wrestling fans of Linthicum from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And before the fair starts, USW will be walking in the community parade. So you might have to walk too, Bob. I'm just kind of trying to prep you. You have to talk and walk, and there's a lot going on.
I got a scooter.
Okay, all right. Can I ride on the scooter with you? Yeah. They see me rolling. They hate. Yeah. All right, for this next announcement regarding appearances, please welcome the president of the IAW, Mr. Tony Garnett.
Thank you. How y'all doing today? Thank you, Danny, Brian, USW Wrestlers. Thank y'all for having me here today. Again, my name is Tony Garnett. I am the president of Intense Action Wrestling. We just launched this year. We did our debut show July 15th in Manassas. A little bit about IAW. We're based in Northern Virginia, and it's a wrestling town. So we're happy to bring wrestling back after so many years. And let me tell you, the crowd there is just awesome in response to professional wrestling. But a little about me, why I'm here today. I'm here to have an event September 23rd at Manassas, Virginia, right? And it's the Run It Back. And not only that, we're here to showcase USW. Right, I got a call from Brian. We talked a little bit. He said, "Hey, I got this great idea," and I said, "I love it." And I'm here to announce it that Saturday, September 23rd, in Manassas, Virginia. You can get your tickets today, right? You scan the barcode. You will see the second generation sensation, Brian Hardy, against the 6'2", 275-pound Huck Sawyer. For the United States Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Yes, it will be defended. So if you want to see who's going to come out victorious, is it going to be the second sensation, or is it going to be Huck? Get your tickets now. Come out to IAW Manassas, Virginia. I am running back September 23rd. Hope to see you guys there. Brian, thank you for having me. I have merch available if you guys want some merch, but like I said, you can scan the QR code, you can get tickets to that right now. And at the same time, you purchase your tickets, we got some free merch for you. So come on out, tickets are $20. It's gonna be a great time, and let me tell you, you don't wanna miss this. Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, thanks very much, Tony. Next order of business. In the summer of 2016, United States Wrestling released a 40-page full-color issue called the USW Magazine. The magazine was heavily promoted by major wrestling stars in the business. Front cover issues included the Baltimore Blondes, George South, and the franchise Shane Douglas. Everybody truly was talking about the USW Magazine, and we are here to announce that in the spring of 2024, as part of the USW relaunch, we will also be relaunching the USW Magazine publication, featuring coverage on USW stars as well as a ton of partnering promotions. We're also proud to say that the king of the wrestling magazines himself, Bill Apter, has been seen on USW social media pages talking about how fantastic the magazine was and how we are excited to bring it back for the fans. Magazine's truly kind of a lost art in kind of where the professional wrestling and entertainment business are right now. So it's nice to see USW kind of bringing that back full circle, and definitely want you guys to look forward to that in the spring of 2024. And the magazine will be available online and at all the merchandise tables at USW events. Let's go back and talk about where you can catch USW online and on TV. We will be hosting a weekly YouTube series featuring 30 action-packed minutes of USW wrestling. That will primarily be where you will see that silver screen championship defended on those 30-minute YouTube shows. We're also in negotiation with some networks for syndication on the USW product. We are in the formative stages of these negotiations, but we'll definitely keep you updated at future media conferences and on our social media every time there's something new to release. And we are going to start filming matches for that YouTube series as part of the March 9th, 2024 event in Elmore, West Virginia. At this time, we are going to open it up to questions from the press. We do have a few outlets in attendance today, and we do have quite a few questions that were sent in via email and via video. So we'll take a live question followed by an emailed question. We'll go for as long as we can and try to address all the questions that we have. If you're going to ask a question in person, we ask that you state your name and identify the media outlet that you're representing. So we'll go ahead and get started with any questions.
My name is Dan Hawkins, host and creator of Danapalooza podcast on YouTube. My question is, what is the future for USW?
I don't think you mean what, but who is the future of USW, and you're looking at him.
Well,
You have to feed him before you.
I was gonna say, can you believe this guy? All right, well, I mean, I would honestly have to say that, you know, we just released so many different details today on what's going to be taking place over the course of the next couple of months. Showcase matches are going to be featured, as Danny said, different promotions. We will be at IAW on the 23rd of September. It will be myself and Huck Sawyer. Huck Sawyer, be at your best. Be at your absolute best, because I promise you with every ounce of my being that I am bringing the heat, buddy. Be at your best.
All right, next question.
Tuna for Sushi here with Punk Up the Airways radio show. My question is for Brian Hardy. With the possibility of competitors bigger than you have people like Dustin Wilson, Huck Sawyer, Rotmare, and many, many more. Are you afraid that your window of opportunity in the heavyweight title picture is closing in?
Well, no, to be honest with you, I'm not frightened in the slightest. Huck Sawyer is no pushover. Obviously, like Tony Garnett said earlier, he's 6'2". He's 275 pounds. I'm not frightened. I've never been afraid to take a beating before. And the thing is I can really look a good butt kicking right in the eye, but I won't go down without fighting. And I would honestly have to say, in the grand scheme of things, any of the other guys you mentioned, Rotmare or Dustin Wilson or any of those other guys, I'm not afraid to challenge any of them. I've always been a fighting champion, and I think I will continue down the line once I do win that USW championship to continue to be a fighting champion for many, many, many years. I'm not even talking about months, I'm talking about years to come.
All right, next question.
What's going on, everybody? Senator from Loading Snacks. The question I have for you gentlemen up here is, what makes USW different from the other indie promotions out there, since there's so many of them nowadays?
Well, for starters, what you're doing right now. People in the independent scene, you don't understand what it takes for these guys to put this kind of stuff together. For the sponsor, the pit stop, to get the buildings, to arrange the travel, to make sure we're all there. You understand, one person in our office is making sure that 40 people are there every show, at least 40 people. What makes USW different is I've worked with many different independents all over the country, mostly on the East. They don't even have championship belts. These people went out and spent all kind of money getting some pretty cool looking belts made, and we haven't even launched yet. Okay? They got an action figure line yet. We haven't even launched yet. The magazine's coming back, which I actually remember the first one. That was really cool. It was the first of its kind I'd ever saw. When you've got an office that's willing to spend the money, take care of the talent, make sure they're there, and also have backups. That's something most independents don't do. You know, what if? That's a big thing in 23, 24. You know what I mean?
I'd like to add to that real fast and say that you're looking in the list of 5 talents sitting here today, from ring announcer to wrestler to referee to wrestler to wrestler. 3 of the 5 were on the very first USW event in 2010. So, I mean, that alone speaks volumes of the loyalty and the family of the production, I would say. You know, Danny Mays, you know, cut his teeth in United States Wrestling. You know, he was ring announcing for United States Wrestling before he was ring announcing anywhere else, and that opened a lot of doors for him. Bob Starr was on his way out from professional wrestling and rejuvenated his entire career. Main evented the first USW main event back in 2010, and myself, I was just starting my career when USW first started. So USW branching into Maryland Wrestling Federation, eventually, you know, back into USW again, because we wanted to do something special and more for the fans than just in the state of Maryland. There's so many different states that need good wrestling, and that's really what I would have to say about that, just to add to what you said.
And that's the one thing, it's not just wrestling. If you don't go out and perform, if you don't go out and perform to the best of your ability, you won't be back. Because the rest of the locker room is, you know. And now that I've stepped down from wrestling and started refereeing, I see these guys all the time. You know, people don't realize the job of a referee is fun, but it's not this pushover job. I've got to deal with guys like him all the time, you know. And it's like, I also deal with guys like him who, how many wrestlers, like, the first thing I said is, I don't have to get dressed, right? Like, I'm a referee. But this is Brian Hardy.
I take it very seriously. At the end of the day, I mean, people can say what they want, but when push comes to shove, I am a serious competitor, and more importantly, I'm a champion. From the championship that I wear around my waist from time to time, to the gear that I wear in the ring, to the clothes that I wear outside of the ring, that is a true champion.
Dan?
I think you guys covered it. I mean, for me, I like being able to take something in its formative stages and make it different and make it, you know, and I think what you said is key. I don't think that independent wrestling is just competing with itself anymore. Life is so busy and hectic for everyone that we're competing with time. We're competing with the clock. There's 24 hours in every day. The economy is tough. People don't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of time. So, you know, we don't just look at it, and I know Brian doesn't just look at it in terms of competing with other independent promotions. I mean, certainly we don't want, you know, Bob to come out in the indie referee outfit with the jorts and the t-shirt that's 3 sizes too small. I mean, you're definitely not going to be seeing hack BS like that you see on a lot of independent shows. But I think it goes far beyond that. You really have to create an entire immersive brand that gets people invested, because there's just too much going on in the world right now to look at it so narrowly to just compete with other independent promotions. So for me, I look at it as far beyond wrestling. Next question.
Hey Brian, this is RC from Completely Damaged Radio, heard on MoncoRadio.com. My question for you is, what inspires you to continue to pursue this business while having a family, while having a job, and ultimately get to the next level like an AEW or WWE? Because we all know you had dark matches and you had a taste there. So what continues to motivate you to not give up?
All right, well, thanks, RC. I appreciate it. I know you're located in the Pennsylvania area. To be honest, It's a juggle, you know, being a father and being a pro wrestler and trying to just maintain all of that kind of stuff. Yes, I have worked for the other top promotions. I have never had the chance to work for AEW. I will say I am, as an outsider and as still a fan of the sport, I'm very excited tomorrow night for All in Wembley Stadium in London, England. So I will be watching. Do I feel that AEW had kind of dropped the ball on me a time or two? Absolutely. Do I feel that WWE dropped the ball on me a time or two? Absolutely. That's why I'm here today. That's why USW is in existence, is because I wanted to have the opportunity to showcase my talent. And, you know, sometimes you have to start and work from the ground up. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I would have to say, honestly, that at the end of the day, I've got a very good support system. It's as simple as that. I've got a wife and amazing kids who love me and believe in the vision, and I have a bunch of guys around me. You know, you meet so many wrestlers in this business that are so fickle, and they don't want to be the people that, you know, everything to them is it's my way or the highway. Well, the thing is, you got to give and take sometimes, and in this business. And I just feel I've got a good core group of guys around me that are really willing to put in the time, the effort, the energy to make this whole brand successful. So it's not just Brian Hardy, it's everybody as a whole together that creates USW and makes it what it is, the product.
All right, next question.
Tuna for Sushi with the Punk Up the Airwaves radio show. This question's for Adam Armstrong. I know you've competed for the USW Heavyweight Championship before. Unfortunately, you were unsuccessful. Do you feel that you have more luck in your attempt to gain the Silver Screen Championship?
Well, looking back on that match, I don't think I was unsuccessful. I mean, I think Brian went over the top rope, and in Virginia, you're not allowed to do that. So I think I should honestly be the USW champion, but the focus is on the Silver Screen title right now, and I'll let you know right now, nobody is on my level. Who do we got so far? Merrick Miami? I've never even heard of that guy.
Well, that's not the way I recall it going down. I recall literally hitting you with the super kick, you hitting the ropes, and then me picking you up and giving you the brain buster 1, 2, 3 to win the USW Championship in Virginia. That's what I remember. I don't remember anything else, but I do know that with the help of Tony Garnett and the IAW, anytime you see a USW Championship match from now on, it will be at IAW. So I'll tell you what, when I'm done with Huck Sawyer on the 23rd, why don't you go ahead and pick up your phone and give Tony a call and tell him that you want a match against me for that championship anytime. Because the thing is, if you think you're so bad, if you think you're so big and bad, then why don't you wrestle for the heavyweight title and the Silver Screen title? You could be a double champion. I don't think you got it in you, but we'll have to see.
All right, next question.
This is Stu Palmer from Stu's Wrestling Podcast in the UK. Brian, I cannot wait to see what happens with USW United States Wrestling, but my question is, for the press conference today, how has the business changed since you've had the Maryland Wrestling Federation? What are you going to do? What are the plans in 2024 with USW? And just, where are you going to go with the promotion? What do you intend to do with the promotion? As you know, the business has changed so much since you were promoting a decade or so ago. Thank you very much for allowing me to have a question on the press conference. I'd love to be in the States. I'd love to come over and see a show. That would be amazing. So all the best to you, Brian, and the USW team. Take care.
Man, love Stu. Everybody give a round of applause for Stu's Wrestling Podcast. This airs on Monday on YouTube, and he's actually at All In. So he's covering All In right now, but he didn't want to miss this press conference either. So, Stu, greetings all the way to Wembley Stadium, my friend. Great question. I mean, man, we can touch on lineage and legacy of Maryland wrestling, you know, but at the end of the day, I'll pass that to you in a second, but honestly, I think all I did was I carried a vision that started probably about 20, 30 years before I was born, and I was there. Yeah, you were there, and it led over into today, and the whole thing that confuses people real fast, I'll just touch on this subject since there's cameras all around, is that United States Wrestling started in 2010, like I said earlier, and then it transitioned into the name Maryland Wrestling Federation in 2011. 2011 through 2015 was active, roster, active performances, active shows all the time. It eventually got to a place where, by 2016, 2017, 2018, we were doing a bunch of different independent stuff. But by the year 2021, we had the concept of bringing USW back to life. Now, we did just host the Maryland Wrestling Federation 2023 class of the Hall of Fame. Was hosted by Bob Starr this year. These two actually were in reverse roles. So Danny was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Bob was the host of the show.
I was inducted too.
2011, yeah, and then you got your re-induction. So, but pretty much anytime you see the USW brand and banner, you kind of can relate it to MWF and the three letters that has. So, with all that being said, Stu, man, once again, wherever the cameras are, Stu's Wrestling Podcast, check it out on YouTube, and yeah.
All right, we have time for a few more.
Dan Hawkins here, creator and host of Danapalooza on YouTube. My question is regarding the choice of the first USW television taping. Why was the final decision in Elmore, West Virginia?
All right, we're gonna circle back because I think that's not what I had on my schedule, but I'll answer this one and then I'll take it back real fast. So, because we have another live question in a second. But to be honest with you, Elmore, West Virginia, the location of USW, the return on Saturday night, March the 9th, 2024. The reason that we chose Elmore, a few different things. Number one, and I guess we'll just let the cat out of the bag right now and say it because it's been something that we've talked about for a long time. How do I say this being politically correct?
I know, because I don't know what you're saying.
You'll know where I'm going with it in a second. But being politically correct, the Maryland State Athletic Commission has not been the kindest to United States Wrestling / Maryland Wrestling Federation over the years. There has been a change of the guard in the last couple of months with the Maryland State Athletic Commission, and after 7 years of trying back and forth and everything like that, we have now been able to obtain a promoter's license for the state of Maryland. So after 7 years of chasing that and being told no, and every excuse in the book has been thrown at us for such unfair reasons. And nobody likes to cry over spilt milk. But to be completely honest with you, it was unfair and it was unjust. And it's changed because there's a changing of guard. There is new people working for the commission now. And at the start of the year, United States Wrestling will be running shows in the state of Maryland. However, with the USW branding name, we decided that we wanted to branch out, obviously. If we wanted to stay in Maryland, we would have kept the MWF name. But because of the fact that we wanted to be going out further distances and stuff, people have been reaching out for years from Elmore, West Virginia, asking us, when are you guys coming back to wrestle? We've wrestled there numerous times. Once again, not my favorite person in the world, and we don't agree on anything, but at one time, Adam Armstrong and I were tag team champions, and we wrestled multiple times in Elmore, West Virginia. So there are no wrestling promotions running shows in Elmore right now at the moment, and it was one of those things where we decided as a company to capitalize on it. We said, we will bring you live pro wrestling. We already have a piggyback show for the next time, so we're going there in March, and then we're going there in April of 2024. We are excited. We have some really big plans coming up for the state of Maryland. We have New Jersey, we have Delaware, we have Pennsylvania, all the surrounding areas. So we're going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit at a time. The whole major reason for this press conference, and I originally said it to Danny and I said it to Bob, is that we don't want to be in a situation where the average independent wrestling company just makes announcements online. And that's fine. There's no problems with that. But I wanted to save so much stuff that we had going on, and I literally wanted to release it all at the same time. And that's why press conferences like this happen. That's why people are allowed to send in questions. That's why people like you guys are here today, and I greatly appreciate that you guys even took your time to come out here today, because it's important. All of us as a team, wrestling, wrestlers, press, media, all that kind of stuff, referees, announcers, it takes a village to literally make this dream happen. So I want to thank you guys all for that, and I think that's really the best way to answer that one. We're going to go to a question right now from Loading Snacks again, because they were on the bill. I was kind of reading down. So.
Appreciate it, guys. Jokes from Loading Snacks as well. I like hearing all the plans and everything that we have laid out going forward. Well, what would you say are some other long-term goals that you're looking at to accomplish with USW?
Well, number one, I want to try to keep Danny Mays around as long as possible. So I'm just going to keep adding zeros to that paycheck every single time. I have always
just
said,
as long as it doesn't start with a zero, too. It doesn't really matter how many you add at the end.
I have always said that, this isn't blowing smoke just because they're here, it's being honest. Danny is the best in the business at what he does. So when people think of people like Mean Gene Okerlund, and people think of Tony Schiavone and all the greats over the years, you have to throw Danny Mays in that list of guys, because he'll tell you no way, he'll say, no, you don't understand. Like, that's why he's here and why he's doing what he's doing today. So I don't care what it takes. We will do anything we possibly can to keep Danny around. I was actually completely over the top excited for the fact that he's going to be in the first figure line. So it's cool to see a Brian Hardy figure. It's even cooler to see a Danny Mays figure or a Bob Starr figure, that kind of stuff, Adam Armstrong figure. And with that, there's so much stuff going on right now too. We have trading card lines happening again. We have posters. I mean, you're gonna have trading cards. You're gonna have posters. You're gonna have puzzles. We're going back to the '80s. I mean, when you could walk into a store and you could buy a puzzle with Hulk Hogan or Paul Orndorff or Junkyard Dog or any of those guys. We're at a point now where you're gonna be able to buy any of that type of stuff. So it's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. And future plans: tons of shows, tons of press conferences, tons of interviews. Thinking outside the box.